Hello and welcome to Steve's Vintage Model Builds. Hope everyone's well today. Um, been having a little trouble with my camera software, so unfortunately what we do today there won't be any zoom in or lighting adjustments or brightness, whatever the case may be, until I can get that figured out. So yeah, I tried 2 times previously and it just stopped after a couple of minutes. So I don't know what's going on. Uh, anyways, I'll have to try and figure it out. And I haven't had the camera very long, so I don't know why it would start going wonky. But other things have been going wonky too. The magnifier light that I have, has the round LED light with magnifier in the middle. It started going funky the other day on my last chat video, soliloquy video, whatever you want to call it. And so, so there was that, and then I ordered a new lamp, because even if this one doesn't completely quit, you can always use a second lamp. And so, anyways, I plugged it in. It blinked off and on every setting, and then shut down and wouldn't work. So, and I tried it in different plugs and so on and so forth. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not too bright when it comes to this kind of stuff. Some would say I'm just not too bright, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Okay, so first of all, shout out to a couple of shout outs. A shout out to Zinzan at Zinzan Scale Modeling. He dropped an article, I guess it'll be yesterday now for people watching in the UK, about the much anticipated Airfix catalog and releases that are coming this year. He said he's going to be away for the actual release, but he had some thoughts about things that they should do, and they were all very good ideas, and I would hope that Airfix will take a look at them. I don't want to get too much into the whole Airfix thing, but to my mind, and I'm sure to many others, this is kind of a make or break year. They had some ups and downs last year. That's all I'm going to say. And in spite of the turnaround plan at Hornby, they just released their financial statements, and they lost more money than they did last year, or the year before, and that was in spite of them divesting themselves of a couple of brands that weren't performing very well for them. And so, of course, those are just one-time things. And so, I hope they can turn it around. Sam over at Sam's Trains had an unfortunate experience with Hornby, and what can I say? Stop by Sam's Trains to see what his experience was. So I think we're all hoping Airfix can turn it around. It's a venerable brand with some great products. They have great designers, great researchers, but they got to get a hold on their production and their quality control. It's as simple as that. Because you can have all those other things, but if your end product isn't making your customers very happy, then that's kind of a recipe for disaster. Now, having said that, the loss wasn't that great. I think it was in the neighborhood of something like £12,000. But I don't know. I didn't, I don't have the time or the inclination to analyze what was put out there publicly. There was another creator who actually did it. I can't remember who he was, but I'm sure if you just Google or look up on YouTube, it was on YouTube, so just look up on YouTube Airfix Airfix financial statements, and I'm sure it'll come up. It was a model railroad guy too. So anyways, so oh good, we're 5 minutes in and it hasn't cut me off yet. So I guess there was something going wrong with the software. I don't, who knows. The internet's been burning up along with mosques burning down because of the situation in Iran. And there are a lot of people who are following it very closely. It's a very difficult time for Iranians, but I believe they'll overcome these challenges and see the light of freedom in a new day very soon. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so yeah, Zinzan, he dropped that article, which was very thoughtful, as all his articles are. And the other shout is to Robert Payne, our buddy over there. He had a bit of a rough end of the year, but things are looking up for him, and he's managed to acquire some model kits, which he's eagerly jumping into. So his channel is EYE Robert Payne, Payne, and I'm sure he'd be glad to have you stop by and take a look and see what he's doing. So what's next? So yeah, a little chat. What I'm going to do today is chat a little bit about decals or decals or decals or transfers or stencils. I don't know where stencils come from. To me, a stencil is like a template that has a pattern cut into it that you paint over that and you get what cutout is. They may be referred to as stencils because those particular things are stenciled on to the model, usually aircraft, as opposed to being painted or whatever other way, however they do it. I have no idea how they do it. So yeah, so I was going to talk a little bit about that today, and and do a little demonstration. I'm not going to decal the whole thing. I've got this nearly over the finish line, and I'm pretty happy with it. The underside is hand painted, and this the upper part is a rattle can paint that I used called matte Spanish moss, and I find it's almost exactly the color of the IJN dark green. So I use it. And so it was a little. Here's the box art. Isn't that nice? But when you go to look up the color, it says IJN light gray for the top of the surface, and they indicate that as XF12. Here's another view of it, and it does indeed look very light gray. The box art to me looks almost white, but yes, an extremely light gray. But when I went to the hobby shop and went and got that paint, it's actually quite a dark color, and it's not that much different from the IJN gray. So I wasn't going to be happy with that, and I haven't had much success with the kind of whitish paints, and I didn't want to delve into trying to mix them. It's almost like it's a mix of kind of white and silver to my eye. I mean, I could be wrong, but in any case, so anyways, I decided to do it in the other scheme, which is that one, and that's the later scheme. This was the earlier scheme. Early in the war, for Pearl Harbor, almost all of the Japanese planes were a metallic gray, silvery color, and but they were soon painted over with the dark green. And so, anyways, and so yeah, so we've got our figure here. I'll just show him off. There he is. I think I've done a pretty good job with him. And so he will be going in. Talk a little bit about the model. I don't know if you can see here. Can you see where the wings join? Maybe you can't. But anyways, where the wings join the fuselage, when I first assembled them, they fit perfectly, and there was no seam. The glue took perfectly, and then I realized I'd gotten ahead of myself, and the cockpit assembly had to go up underneath into the fuselage before the wings go on. Yeah. So I had to take it apart, and of course, the fit was so good and the bond was so good that took a little bit of hacking. I've done my best to repair it, but you can see it. It's not perfect. I may be able to cover up a lot of it with chipping, but in any case, we make mistakes. Mistakes happen. So so we've got this little guy here, and we'll deal with him in a minute. And so, as they say, here's what we're going to need. We're going to need a dish. Doesn't have to be this big. Some of these decals are a fair size, so I get this big. For little ones, I use something like this. And also, I don't know where it is now, but I have like a square one. It's a little bigger than that. So we're going to need this for warm water, not hot. We're going to need some rubbing alcohol, some alcohol. Could be 70%, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I use, this is Microsol softening solution. And I have two types of decal. Well, decal, most people call it decal fix, but Tamiya calls it decal adhesive. And it's decal fix. So I may use this today because it's Tamiya product, but I often use this. And so what I'll often do is I'll put a little bit of Microsol into the actual water, so it's nice and soft. And then, but you'll see how I do that. So we're going to set that aside for today. And excuse me, I need to have a sip of orange soda. What kind of a chat would it be if we didn't talk about the weather? It's been pretty nasty here. We've had quite a lot of rain. I guess yesterday, maybe late the day before, we started experiencing an atmospheric river. We're all gonna die. The world is ending. So dramatic. But all it is really is there's a low front up by Alaska, which is pretty much due north of where we are, and a high down in California. And so that's funneling everything right into us. At northern Washington state, but in particular Vancouver Island and what they call the lower mainland, where Vancouver is, and Whistler, and the North Shore Mountains, coastal mountains. Excuse me. Of course, they'll get a lot of snow, but it won't be ski weather quite yet. So anyways, okay, so what are we doing here? Okay, the other thing we're going to need is a little brush, a soft brush. You can use any kind of brush you want. It's not that important. Excuse me. And I'm going to pause now while I go get some warm water. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to talk a little bit about decals, decals, whatever, however you say them, however you pronounce them. Anybody who's watched this channel at all knows that I'm a Tamiya guy. I guess if you want to put it that way. Not that I'm not interested in building other kits. I do. I enjoy lots of different manufacturers. Tamiya is my go-to, but Hasegawa, they make a lot of great kits. I'm still struggling with the Akaji, but their aircraft kits are terrific, and I have quite a few of them. So, and I've got the F-104 Starfighter underway now. It's ready. It's base layer paint. Its paint has been overall metal finish here. There we go. I showed this before. This is done, and really all that's left now is to put all the little doodads on. And I think I'm going to do it in flight, but I'm not entirely sure. Revell puts out some nice kits, and of course ICM, terrific. A lot of people don't particularly like Tamiya decals or decals. Many people find them to be too thick. They are a little bit, but I find them quite easy to work with, and as people will know, I'm not that picky. I'm far from a rivet counter. So as long as it looks nice and the way it's more or less supposed to when it goes on, I'm good with it. So and I haven't really dealt with Cartograph decals. I think the Lysander I've got coming from Airfix, I think those are Cartograph decals. So I can't really speak to them, although they seem to have a very good reputation in the industry. Academy decals I found can be kind of tricky. It's easy to over soak them, and if you do, they just break down and fall apart. Now that may have changed a little bit, but that's been my experience. So, and Revell decals, the Revell decals are okay. ICM, they seem to be fine too. Maybe not as thick as Tamiya decals, but yeah. So, and the Hasegawa decals are almost exactly the same as the Tamiya ones. So maybe it's a Japanese thing. I don't know. And especially with the older kits, a lot of them were designed for young people. And so, young modelers who, we're just happy to have it go on easy, not worry too much about if it settles into every tiny little panel line, which is good if that's what you like, if that's what you want. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't using. And so, anyways, so we've got a decal set here, and I think what I cut out here was the dashboard. So anyways, so that's why it's got. So anyways, yeah. So we've got the rising sun red dots, as well as the two variations, or there may be three. I'm not sure. Actually, it looks like there's four. Tinian Flying Group, Tainan Flying Group, which I guess was probably in China. 261 Flying Group, Akaji fighter group, and 3rd Flying Group. There we go. And the instructions for the scheme that I'm doing. Let me see here. They don't. Okay, so Tainan Air Group. Oh, Bali Island. Kendari Base, Celebes Island, March 1942. And the Akaji Aircraft Carrier Fighter Group, that would have been the white, the lighter scheme. So, anyways, it looks to be, we'll be using these for the top of the wings, which is all we're going to do today. And for the tail, we have these identification numbers. Or these ones. So I'll have to think about that. Excuse me. Okay. So, and of course, the other one is Edouard. There was quite a bit of controversy, or controversy. You know how you guys say it. Controversy. That's what they say. With the new Edouard decals. And I can't really speak to it. I saw videos of people praising them, and I saw videos of people who had just a terrible time with them. So I guess the people who had a good experience, they were very pleased with them. But just kind of from feeling out all the different opinions and demonstrations, Peter Oxley did a great experiment. To my mind, it struck me as they were more trouble than they were worth, the new system. And but I mean, hey, if people are happy with them and they want to use them, then that's great. Yay. So now I am going to go get some water. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. All right. So, and I forgot. Yeah, you're going to need some scissors and a pair of tweezers. Some people like to cut around them with a very sharp knife. If that's what you do, fine. You can do it that way. I'm a simple modeler. I'm a simple guy. Some might call me a simpleton, although I wouldn't agree with that. But anyways, so and just before we get going on this again, I was kind of surfing around yesterday actually, and I found this on Amazon. Cost me it was only $23 Canadian, including tax. And I think the truck and the helicopter is pretty cool. There are some other things that you can build. But to be honest, I don't think I'm going to build it. I'm gonna send it over to our grandnephew, our great nephew. Anyways, Esther's sister's son's son. Figure that out. Yeah. grandnephew, great nephew, whatever. Anyways, can't believe I'm grand anything. But anyway, so yeah, so here we go. So first thing we're gonna do is get some cotton. And you know, you can pour alcohol into a little dish and just kind of dampen that. I'll move this down now so we can see what we're doing. And yeah, recording looks okay so far. Still going anyways. So it may have been a software issue. So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. Some people just spray this direct, but I just give it a little. Just to clear off dust or oil, anything like that. There we go. And it just takes a couple minutes to dry, but if there's a little excess on there, you can rub her down. Okay, so we're ready to go. Okay, so decal number 3 goes. Decal number 3 will go here, and or what? Yes, no. Yeah, decal number 3 will go here. Decal number 4 will go here. Here. Decal number 35 will go on the tail. And this one will go on the waist. Okay, so we've got some of the microsol here. I just put it in the water. You can apply a little bit. I put it in now, but you can also apply it after you put the decal on. So yeah, so we'll stir this up a little bit. Those can go in. Those can go in. And while I'm waiting for that, it looks like this will go like this. Yes. Excuse me. And I don't know, you get to know. For the Tamiya decals, unlike the Academy, as I said before, you know, it's if they're in a little bit longer than they need to be, it's not a disaster. And also, oh, and the other thing too is you can usually tell when they're ready because the little number things are going to come off first. And I also like the Tamiya decals. They're very good about getting right down to the edge. You don't have a lot of extra stuff. So we're gonna, there we go. And these will go right about there. And this one goes right here, right behind the canopy. And there's a line there. You can line that up. Dry cotton ball. And I think I kind of got that backwards. You're supposed to put the decal fix down first. So I'll do that on this side. And here. Swoosh that around a little bit. Kind of eyeball that. There. Okay, so yeah, we've got that. And put that to soak, and these to soak. And people will say you should be using a Q-tip to manipulate them. I don't disagree. Actually, I think it already said. Okay, now we're ready for this. That's still not right. It needs to go way up there. Come on. Ah. Of course, it breaks in the most obvious place. Come on now. That's unusual for a Tamiya decal. They usually don't break that easily. Anyways, we shall repair this once it's all set. It's a little touch up. Okay, yay, there we go. Okay, no, that doesn't need to go back in the water. Okay. Okay, and that goes pretty much like that. And that goes like that.
Sorry, are you recording?